Have you ever looked back at your own past and realized that one small decision could have changed everything? Imagine knowing exactly where things went wrong and being able to say, without hesitation, would have stopped it on day one. That kind of clarity usually only comes after chaos, after consequences, after years of learning the hard way. And that's exactly the mindset shaping some of the biggest conversations happening in crypto right now. Recently, a major voice in the crypto space reflected on his journey and said something that caught everyone's attention. If he could start over, knowing what he knows now, he would have blocked US users from the very beginning. Not because of ideology, but because of regulation. Back then, it felt harmless. A small tech startup, global users, innovation moving fast. Years later, those early decisions turned into massive legal trouble tied to regulations no one fully understood at the time. That single reflection reveals something deeper. In crypto, growth without clarity always comes at a price. And this brings us to a much bigger conversation, one that goes far beyond a single company or individual. Right now, two powerful stories are unfolding at the same time in the crypto world. One is about trust slowly breaking inside communities that once felt united. The other is about a growing belief that Bitcoin may be heading towards something much bigger than a normal market cycle. When you connect these two stories, you start to see why the next couple of years could define the future of crypto itself. At its core, crypto is not just code. It's not just blockchains, charts, or transaction speeds. Crypto is built on belief. It works because people choose to trust that the system will still be there tomorrow, that the rules won't suddenly change, and that their participation actually matters. This is why the story around global community value and the pioneer community resonates with so many people. That movement started with hope. People believed in a system guided by data, transparency, and fairness. They believed that decisions based on numbers, not emotions, could eliminate corruption and inefficiency. A leader was chosen who promised to govern through data, dashboards, and measurable outcomes. And on paper, it worked. Reports showed economic improvement. Health metrics improved. Environmental indicators moved in the right direction. Everything looked perfect. But something felt wrong. Despite the positive numbers, everyday life didn't seem to change for many people. Local businesses continued to struggle. Communities felt ignored. Anxiety didn't disappear just because charts said things were better. Slowly, people stopped feeling connected to the system. Leadership began to feel distant, more like management than guidance. And without loud protests or sudden collapse, trust quietly started to erode. This highlights one of the most important lessons for crypto today. Data can guide decisions, but data alone cannot create loyalty. Algorithms can optimize outcomes, but they cannot replace human connection. This is especially relevant as decentralized governance, DAOs, and automated decision-making systems become more common across the crypto ecosystem. Now contrast that with the second story unfolding, the growing belief that Bitcoin may be approaching a super cycle. For years, Bitcoin followed a familiar rhythm. A halving event, followed by a massive rally, then a brutal crash, and a long recovery. Traders built entire strategies around this 4-year cycle. But now, respected industry leaders are questioning whether that pattern still applies. Some believe that 2026 won't be just another cycle, but something far bigger. The reasoning behind this belief is hard to ignore. Governments are becoming more crypto-friendly. Regulations, while still strict, are becoming clearer. Infrastructure is stronger than ever. When you zoom out and look 5 or 10 years ahead, the overall direction seems obvious to many. Bitcoin adoption is still accelerating. The numbers tell a powerful story. In one recent year, Bitcoin processed more total transaction value than major payment networks combined. That's not speculation. That's real economic activity happening on-chain. Unlike the GCV story, where data and public sentiment drifted apart, Bitcoin is experiencing something different. The data is strong, and belief is rising alongside it. Institutions are buying. Governments are adapting. Long-term investors are positioning early. Some analysts believe that when the next major move begins, it won't stop at previous highs. They argue that once momentum builds, short sellers will be forced to exit, leveraged buyers will rush in, and the pressure from both sides could push Bitcoin far beyond expectations. Corrections will happen, as they always do, but that volatility is part of how network-based assets grow, scare people, and ultimately reshape global finance. At the same time, the crypto ecosystem itself is evolving beyond just Bitcoin. Infrastructure chains are quietly building the foundation for the next wave of adoption. Solana, for example, is becoming a major hub for consumer-focused crypto activity. Tokenized stocks, ETFs, gaming, and fast trading are finding a home there. Massive daily volumes aren't driven by hype anymore, but by real users doing real transactions. Ethereum, on the other hand, is experiencing a quieter but equally important shift. Once criticized for being slow or expensive, it is now positioning itself as the settlement layer for institutions and real-world assets. Large funds are accumulating. New financial products are being built. This isn't emotional trading. It's strategic positioning. A clear pattern is emerging. Solana is becoming the engine for speed, usability, and everyday applications. Ethereum is becoming the backbone for institutional trust and large-scale settlement. Different paths, same ecosystem, growing stronger together. Zoom out even further, and the global context becomes impossible to ignore. Recent years were filled with uncertainty. Policy confusion, economic shocks, and unpredictable government decisions made investors cautious. When people don't understand the rules, they stop taking risks. Crypto felt that hesitation deeply. But the outlook ahead looks different. Expectations of monetary easing, fiscal stimulus, and regulatory clarity are returning. These are the same conditions that have historically fueled major bull markets. When money becomes easier to access and rules become clearer, capital starts moving again. And crypto is often one of the first places it flows. Retail investors are slowly returning, not with blind excitement, but with curiosity. The conversation is changing. Instead of only asking how bad the next crash could be, people are asking what crypto might build next. Artificial intelligence, tokenized assets, decentralized identity, new narratives are forming. This is how every major cycle begins, quietly, before the headlines explode. And this is where the two stories truly connect. The breakdown of trust in data-only systems shows what happens when growth outpaces human connection. The Bitcoin supercycle thesis shows what happens when belief and growth rise together. Crypto will not succeed on technology alone. It will succeed only if communities protect trust, communication, and transparency. Dashboards don't build confidence. Listening does. Echo chambers destroy communities. Dialogue rebuilds them. So the real question isn't just whether Bitcoin will explode in 2026. The real question is whether crypto communities can protect the one asset more valuable than any coin or token, trust. If you found this breakdown valuable, make sure to like the video so more people can see it. Share your thoughts in the comments, drop Pi Network to the moon along with your country. And follow my Telegram and Facebook pages in the description for daily Pi Network and crypto updates. Stay informed, stay critical, and I'll see you in the next video.